Sometimes I be right in your face and hit like genjutsu in place. That's how it be though. Nothing but great effort just to get a C though. Eyes watching but we never seem to be though. It's a rarity where I really make a whole big, bonanza over music, but I gotta say, damn. Tokyo Ghoul's anime, yo, from the jump with the very first opening, it was already like, yo, that's one of my all-time favorite openings. But then on top of that, the soundtrack has just been such a beautiful pleasure to my ears. Season 1 did it, Season 2, no matter what you want to say about the story, art, animation, all of that, you can't take away from how beautiful the music was. And there was just a couple of scores in this episode that really, oh my gosh, they know what they're doing musically. They really have a heart on the pulse of Tokyo Ghoul, at the very least musically. Now, this episode, yet again, a lot of stuff happening, but then at the same time, I checked back, and they didn't really go through that much content. They might have pulled stuff from future chapters, I'm not too sure, but for the most part, the content I've seen was in the next few chapters onward, which is really making me think, unless they're just planning on doing a huge change somewhere in between this season, we might have quite a few Tokyo Ghoul reanimes to come if this one is successful. If this one does big numbers and what they want and expect or beyond, we might get Tokyo Ghoul Re Season 2, Season 3, maybe even Season 4. I would love 5 or 6. I'm just saying, like, let's get it all nice and done, because the adaptation, as far as, like, the amount of material that they're pulling from, isn't like the first 2 seasons. The first 2 seasons, they did not care. Based on what I'm saying in the preview, which I'll talk about that in another video, but it seems as though they're really trying to correct, to a certain degree, the mistakes that they made starting from Season 1, where they just really left out people like Big Mom, or I think she was Big Madam, I'm not sure, but anyway, people like her in the very first season, she was changed, and there was just so many ridiculous things that they did. This one, again, is just like, oh my gosh, they really want to try and get it right, but obviously it's not perfect. Again, there's a couple of changes, but let's talk about, for starters, Urie in this episode. Yet again, Urie, you're asking for it, bro. I feel like from my manga reading days and talking about these chapters, nothing's changed. I still want Urie to get demolished right now in this episode. I was gonna say chapter, my gosh, what's going on here? I just, Urie lying, you know what I'm saying? Saying that Sasaki Heisei, his mentor, or shall I say his leader, squad leader, or whatever, he's the guy that gave the okay, lying to Kisho Arima. You gotta have some cojones down there to lie to Kisho Arima. I'm just saying, I wouldn't do it. This episode taking place, obviously, from where the last one left off. They're trying to chase down this nutcracker that likes to crush the whats of men. Yeah, use your imagination there. She likes to do that, and it gets her rocks off, I guess, and they're investigating. And I honestly think that Re itself, but also just in general, the anime is handling the inspector's side of things in a lot more of an interesting way than the first couple of seasons. And what I mean by that is, it was kind of boring for me. Like Season 2, especially, when Shinohara was the main focus and all of the blunders that they made or whatever, I didn't want to see the inspectors. This time around, I kind of like it. I think the characters are standing out more to me too than in the beginning. In the beginning, I just kept on thinking to myself, please let me get more Toka. Please let me get more Nishio. Please let me get more of these characters. In this, and maybe it's because I'm a manga reader and I know what's to come down the road, so I'm not that discomplacent with it, but I really like seeing these characters, and it's like they're building in a very nice way. The relationships, the dynamics, kind of getting a little more into Yonebayashi. It seems as though, as cliche as it is, she's doing a lot of this for the guarantee of a good living. The CCG, they've made it clear, if you become a Quinke or Quinks or whatever, you join the Quinks, you will be taken care of when you are old and no longer capable of doing anything. That's a promise and a pact that they made, and that's kind of like a part of the deal. If you jump into there, I do gotta say, it makes me a little bit nervous if the CCG would actually hold up their end of the bargain, because we know the CCG, they're not too, you know what I mean? You can't trust them too much, especially the Quinks job. That's a really rough one, and they might look at you at the end of the day. Let's just say they exterminate every single ghoul. There's not one ghoul left in society. They might look and say, yo, there's no more ghouls left. I don't think we want y'all around anymore. Y'all kind of have that ghoul shit. We don't need no babies coming out or something, some crazy DNA swap shit or whatever. Like, nah, we're gonna do away with y'all too. So something to think about regarding Yonebayashi. But again, getting into her character in this episode, it was nice. You see that she basically is a NEET. And if you don't know what a NEET is not an employment, education, or training. So she just literally likes to game all day. She's a hardcore otaku for the most part. It looks as though she's playing like a fake PSP or fake PS Vita, whatever, something like that. Cool stuff with Yonebayashi in this episode of Tokyo Ghoul. Going more again into Urie, it shows Urie has so much potential to be a true, really good squad leader. When he thought of the little strategy to get Yonebayashi out of her room, kind of, let's just lie to her, tell her whatever, you know, she's gonna lose everything. They're thinking about firing her and canning her. She's not gonna have her security in life. Bam, she'll work. Why couldn't he be like that and genuine? You know what I mean? Obviously, we know his demons that haunt him. Losing his father is a very, very traumatic thing in Urie's head, and what seems to be, you know, moving him to be this way. Again, in this episode, him thinking shit, you know, saying one thing and thinking another. It was crazy. I gotta say, one time, I am so happy to see the return of Suzuya Juzo. Oh my gosh, when I saw that, I was like, bro, I've been waiting a while, I ain't gonna lie. Let's jump into a little more of Ken or Sasaki Heisei in this one. Let's talk about his discussion when he went to visit Donata in the prison, the Ghoul prison and whatnot. It seems as though there's more lurking in the shadows, and I love this episode because it was a huge foreshadowing for things to come down the road. When he told him, yo, your memories, you don't ever get curious. Like, I love those scenes. I love that in the manga. The anime's doing a pretty damn good job of building up the suspense of like, hey, is Ken gonna return? And based on the way they're directing things, again, I'm not saying regarding the source material, I'm solely speaking on what's happening with this season. I can almost guarantee, if not episode 11, episode 12, one of those episodes is when we're gonna have something huge happen. And holy shit, I almost spoiled something, but yeah, manga readers kind of know more or less what I'm thinking, the way they're heading or whatever. But again, a huge thing with Sasaki Heisei and his memories and so many things that's going on right now is that he's kind of in a way stuck, because he's saying that he's happy and he loves all these things, but then at the same time, in the manga anyway, and you'd have to have this prerequisite in the manga, which is again something bullshit that should have been in there, but whatever, it's neither here nor there, that he's not necessarily truly happy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's happy and he loves certain aspects of this, but at the end of the day, how much can you really admire a facade? You know what I'm saying? He's not really Sasaki Heisei. He knows that. Kisho Arima truly isn't a father figure as much as he loves the idea of it, but it's really just interesting, and always diving into Ken's character, one of the most complex characters in manga period, I truly believe. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's really just a deep guy. It's just really funny seeing in this episode when they dressed up as women and they went to the bar or whatever. I remember in the manga I was like, really? Like, what? But again, it's just some of the things that is making the inspector's side of things more interesting, which is what I was talking about at the beginning of this video. It's like, I'm having fun with it. It's funny. You've seen Shirazu dancing, which Shirazu, I think to a certain degree, with, you know, Sasaki saying, hey, you know, I'm going to promote him to being captain or whatever. He has the heart for it. He has the caring and compassion for his people for it. But in terms of knowledge-wise, I'd still say Urie, unfortunately, as much as Urie pisses me off, trumps Shirazu in terms of, like, being a leader. Like, Shirazu don't be knowing what to do, and even he had to give a little thanks to Urie and saying, like, yo, even though you're an asshole sometimes, you be getting it, you know what's up, you know what I'm saying, you know what time it is, and it's interesting to see the dynamics of all of them. We see in this one a little setup of Mutsuki, and if you see what's going on, then you know they're leading into either something tragic or something really messed up, because of course we see Ayato, we see a little bit of the whole Aogiri tree, we see Eto, and of course we got Torso. And Torso, we've seen that he really has some sick plans for Mutsuki, and if he gets involved, because right now we got the stakeout, right? They're trying to get to Nutcracker, and there's, I believe, Big Mom is there too, and there's a big case going on, and Mutsuki is seemingly being the target dummy, you know, dressing up straight up as a girl. I ain't gonna lie, and I will say this, I really wish that they would have kept some of the gender stuff that was going on, because it was really good. And if you don't have that pre-knowledge and you're watching this video, let me fill you in. Mutsuki essentially has a complex and overall has a battle within herself because, well, or within himself, because born a female, wants to be a male, but then look, they're making Mutsuki dress up as a woman, so I'm imagining it would have been way better if they would have kind of dived more into that to see, like, how does Mutsuki feel having to be put in this position. But of course, again, building up Torso being with Aogiri Tree, if they get involved with the Nutcracker case, it's gonna be insane because, one, you know what I'm saying, Torso has the hots, and again, that image is so creepy and burned into my head of him there salivating at the thought of killing Mutsuki and being next to Mutsuki's dead body. That shit is sick or whatever. So definitely a really huge setup there. I really appreciate seeing the little Ayato scenes and Eto. I love those scenes too, I'm not gonna lie. All around this episode, yet again, I gotta say we are 3 for 3. We've had 3 episodes that all around, yes, of course, we know the problems or whatever, but they have been pretty freaking awesome. I gotta say, this episode at the very least gets an 8.5 out of 10, maybe even a 9. I just really appreciate that they're, for the most part, trying their best to do a faithful adaptation. Let's talk about a character that... throughout the episode, we saw more of the return of one of our all-time favorites, the goats, the napkin sniffer, the underwear smeller himself, Shu Tsukiyama. We see one of his helpers that you could tell that this guy, I don't know what type of deal he has with Tsukiyama, but dude looks very similar to Tsukiyama, especially in the flashback that we've seen of a younger Tsukiyama, which, by the way, if you missed it, they did a really cool OVA, the last Tokyo Ghoul OVA that they did, and it was a little bit about Tsukiyama's past. If you want to understand the relationship between Mouse, the little guy that is taking the pictures or whatever, and Tsukiyama, go watch that OVA because it gives you a little more context as to why they are the way they are. Obviously, you see in this one that they said, your history with him doesn't mean squat. Tsukiyama's helper was like, I don't care that y'all were schoolmates, you're a human and I will kill you. So you can see that this guy, whatever it is, potentially really wants Tsukiyama to himself. I think this dude wants to be able to break Tsukiyama out of seemingly the most 1000% crippling depression I've ever seen a character. And I'm not gonna lie, seeing Shu in this bad state, and we didn't really get to see him, but we know that he's really depressed, and seeing Shu in that circumstance, you know what I mean? Obviously it goes back to the end of, you know, season 2 when he told Ken, you don't gotta go, please don't go. That broke his heart, you know what I mean? Because whatever feelings he has towards Ken, whether it's that he looked at him as a meal and a friend at the same time, I don't know. Like Tsukiyama, again, another complex character. I don't understand exactly if it's romantic feelings, if it's friendly feelings, love, if it's what it is that he feels for Ken that he is in this bad of a state. I was shocked and I was like, yo, crazy. I ain't gonna lie. And again, his helper looks as though he just wants him all to himself or something like that. Like, I think Mouse brought, you know what I mean, like Sasuke's pants or whatever so he could sniff them, and, or was it the underwear or the shorts? I don't know, but a little wild stuff. But overall, bringing Tsukiyama back into the fold, nicely done. I ain't gonna lie. Tokyo Ghoul, the source material is rich. The anime is, again, handling it in a very fair way. And last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about the training that we see again. Sasuke, Shirazu, and everything. Cool stuff in that regard. Again, seeing more of the bonding of these characters. And it's hard to say because, okay, in the manga, it was clear as day that he's not completely content because, again, how can you know, I said it earlier, be content with a lie? This isn't really him. This isn't his life and whatnot. But I think the camaraderie that he's built with them is definitely legit. He definitely cares about them. You know what I mean? Him leading them in the right direction is because he truly does care. He truly does look at Akira to a certain degree like, man, that she does kind of fit that motherly role. You know what I mean? Arima, likewise. When Arima said that thing of his grandchildren and shit like that, you can see that he enjoys this, but he just probably wishes it was real. And because Ken is always going to be Ken, he knows that it's not real, and he knows that at the end of the day, they're treating him almost like a puppy or something. It's really weird, you know what I mean? Because they're kind of acting like, hey, yo, we care about you, but if you fuck up, if that little mind of yours does something, we're putting you down. How can you live like that? You know what I mean? Absolutely crazy. Again, going back to Juzo real quick, seeing that he's going to be involved in certain parts of investigations and whatnot, I'm happy. I want more Juzo and his helper, which I don't remember if he was, I think he was in season 2. I don't think he was in season 1, but it was interesting to see that Juzo's kind of moved up a little bit, and still funny as ever, the relationship with Sasuke. If you remember, Juzo, he kind of liked Ken, but because they were on different sides of the fence, he couldn't necessarily bond with him. It's like, you Ghoul, I kill you. Now that they're on the same side of the fence, he absolutely is through the moon that, yo, we can finally be friends. We don't gotta have no problems. I don't gotta look at you like, man, I gotta hunt you down. And Juzo's really loving it. Gonna be interesting to see if, you know, the true Ken comes back, how Juzo's gonna feel about it, how his superiors are gonna feel about it, how the Quinks are gonna feel about Ken Kaneki opposed to the guy that they know and love right now, Sasaki Heisei. I'm really curious. A lot of you guys' opinions and thoughts on episode 3 of Tokyo Ghoul Re. Again, I absolutely loved it. The music. There were some things that they skipped out on, but for the most part, man, I'm just shocked that they're not doing fucking 8 to 10 chapters and skipping arcs and shit with this one. They're finally understanding the plight that the fandom has had, and yeah, they're skipping out a small thing, but for the most part, A-grade shit. But that is all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day. Make a major move, laugh and let the haters lose. We don't give a fuck, virginity intact, cream stack, paper rules.